Trust the Pulse for all your news analysis on the top issues of the day. Now, more than 3.5 million Ghanaian children are now trapped in poverty. That's according to a new report by the World Bank and UNICEF. Globally, nearly 385 million children are living in extreme poverty. Ghana was one of the first countries to meet the MDG deadline of halving the number of people living in poverty by 2015. But this new study now says efforts have slowed recently, with the income inequality gap in Ghana at an all-time high. Children the most affected, it concludes. Joy News Justice Bede has been studying the report and joins me in the studio to tell us more. Hello, Justice.
Hi, Aisha.
What are the key highlights of this report?
So some of these are things that we are used to already, and it touches on issues to do with health, with education, with nutrition, newborn care, maternal health, and all of that, and it zero into with issues related to children and the general situation in Ghana. So what we've been trying to do is to piece together some sort of infographics that will tell the Ghana specific situation. So right. You would see from the figures that there are roughly about 12 million children currently in Ghana, and with the current figure that says that 3.5 million could be described as poor, it comes down to about 1 in every 3 children. It sends a very worrying situation that requires attention. If you look at education, for example, on education, the report basically says that, for example, among other things, that 7 out of every 10 Ghanaian children in primary three could hardly read or write, and so it raises issues about the content of education that we are having for our children. So it praises the government and Ghana generally, for example, for increasing access to education through the increased number of school buildings and all of that. But then, what sort of content are we given to children once and
that could lead to
they are in school?
No
exactly
growth and
exactly because then
for the
a child who is
that's the end result.
Poorly educated, it has impact on how employable he is and how prepared he is to earn an income. On sanitation, for example, if you look at sanitation, it raises same old issues about the sanitation problems that we do have. So, for example, 1 in every 5 Ghanaians defecate in the open, and it comes with attendance problems, with increased deaths, diarrhea-related deaths, for example. As it stands, the report says the report says that 3,600 Ghanaian children die every year out of diarrhea, and these are diseases that could be easily prevented. So these are generally things that we know. If you talk about nutrition, for example, which is a key indicator for young children, especially between the day of birth and then their first birthday, and also sometimes to their 5th birthday. 1 in every 5 Ghanaian children are stunted, which means that they are not growing to the height that they are supposed to grow per the ages that they do have, and it's basically because they are not getting the right level of nutrition that would boost their growth. There are issues that you could ignore, but basically these are all issues that have been raised. If you look at one of the things that has been said, for example, in the recommendations that government should focus on, is to increase access to cash transfer. So, for example, projects to do more. So there are wide-ranging issues about how poverty in itself among the children, the inequalities therein. So, for example,
so the gap must be bridged.
So there are concerns that the rich is getting richer and the poor is getting poorer. So we are not doing enough to, for example, bridge the gap between the rich and the poor. If you look at statistics that show that a child who lives in the Upper West region is 30 times likely to be poorer than a child that lives in the Greater Accra region. So these are really serious concerns, obviously re-echoing some of the things that we do know already, but then raising new issues which should prompt new attention from all of us.
And I'm encouraged by what it says, that but only if if it's richest of families living in poverty.
So what we are talking about now is inclusive growth.
Up our game. in all of this.
Yes.
I mean, just saying we want to improve is not enough.
Yeah.
We need to walk our talk.
Yeah.
That's what the reason. Many thanks for bringing us that report.
Welcome, Asha.
And to other stories, he was known as the Mad Doctor, a rather simplistic way of describing his tremendous work with mentally ill patients. Dr. David Foseini Abdullahi possessed a kindness that is rarely seen and hardly ever acted upon. He deliberately targeted people that are usually discarded onto the streets of Tamale, giving them food, shelter, medicine, and perhaps most important of all, acceptance. The late doctor died on Sunday after being diagnosed with stage 4 thyroid cancer at the Tamale Teaching Hospital. He was interviewed in January this year by journalist Matilda Omega when she paid a visit to his home in Tamale.
I said, really, exactly, yeah.
I'm sure you will.
The desire to be fulfilled, the desire to find real inner peace. That is my motivation.
You're not being paid for all this.
Why do you need a salary for?
Community.
You tell me, why do you use the salary for?
Maybe to take care of myself, my family.
Why would you want to take care of yourself and your family? So you can be happy.
Yeah.
So if I can find this happiness without a salary, what is your problem, madam?
So the motivation for you is just seeing people happy.
Yes. My motivation, let me say, is very selfish. I want to find joy. And joy can never be got anywhere outside giving another person the same thing. You just reap what you sow. If you give somebody joy, you get back joy. You give somebody misery, you get back misery. Yes,
It's not just a clinic. It's a complete home.
Yes.
When did you start and who are the kind of people you keep here?
About my own background, very poor people, destitute people no one really wants. The society has forgotten. These are the people we welcome primarily here. But we open our doors to anybody who wants to feel loved, who has a basic need and thinks we can support him or her. We open our doors to them.
So how do you get them coming in? Do you advertise? Do you go out looking for the people? Do they come here themselves? How do you get the people in here?
I don't know. We don't advertise. We don't go to tell anybody about it. But I think what happens is that people hear about us, like you have heard about us, and you say, I want to come and see. I want to come and find out what's happening. So you come, you catch me by surprise, and then you just come and you see what's happening here. Some have fallen in love, and some have stayed. I'm not just being here for medical reasons. I'm being here primarily for social reasons, to make people feel that God loves them freely and unconditionally. Now, the medical conditions we usually take care of here are mentally ill people, lepers, social outcasts that nobody really wants. Some of them are beggars, not all of them are beggars, but some have been beggars. Non-Ghanaians who may be passing through and get stranded and don't want to go back home for various reasons. We've taken care of them and we've supported them, we've stayed here. In the society, what we normally do are people who are sick of various kinds. We have an outpatient unit where we see patients day in and day out. All diseases, whatever we can. I'm no specialist, but I can give the best I can to patients who choose to come this way. So we have seen that anybody who comes here is a poor person who cannot access the national health insurance scheme or government healthcare or private healthcare. And we give them free medical services.
How many people do you have here at the moment? And how do you keep this running if you're doing all this by yourself? You're doing it all by yourself. How do you keep it going? How do you keep it running over these years that you've been in existence?
I do not do it all by myself. I do it with the support of God. I believe in divine providence. It is this belief that has kept us going. I trust that God is omnipotent, God is omniscient, God is omnipresent, and He can do anything. So when we have a basic need, I tell the Lord about it. And God often and for nearly has always provided all our basic needs, more than we ever anticipated or expected.
For how many years has the Lord been so faithful to you in your home?
In March this year, we shall be 25 years old doing this thing.
So what you believe?
Silver Jubilee, exactly. Yeah.
I'm sure you will.
May his soul rest in peace. Now let's move on to other stories. Female prison officers have been charged to upgrade themselves to take up challenging roles in the service. This call was made by the Acting Director General of the Ghana Prison Service, Emmanuel Yao Azaro, at the launch of the 10th anniversary of the Prison Ladies Association today. He explained that female officers who contribute 33% of the services and workforce must make the impacts necessary for their elevation.
Even as we celebrate our women, I want to urge them to remain committed to their duties and abhor all forms of indiscipline and negative attitudes towards work. The time has come for you to take full advantage of available opportunities to develop your potentials. You must position yourselves to take up more challenging roles within the administrative setup. Gone are the days when temporary matrons were engaged to cater for female prisoners. Today, female officers constitute 33% of the current staff strength of 5,443 and are therefore gradually becoming a force to reckon with. Understandably, some of you can boast of rich academic and professional backgrounds, but you can still aspire to attain greater laurels because only the sky can be your limit.
10 years ago, the Prison Ladies Association was formed to, among other things, provide peer support and self-development. The association has also been an advocate for the female prisoner in many years, especially in reintegrating back to society. Director of the Ghana Prison Service and President of the association, Josephine Fredri Ajiman, tells Joy News one most worrying aspect of their job is to cater for pregnant and lactating mothers brought to their facility.
We have established the baby-friendly unit for mothers who come into prison with their babies. And then we've also promoted and also shared knowledge and resources with other security agencies and other similar groups with common objectives. We have also developed our staff. We need to encourage them, we need to build their capacity so that they can also perform very well and then enrich the lives of the inmates. And there are others who also go through formal education and they get very good grades. It's all over in the news. They had 100%. We've also established this NGO, and the NGO, at the end of the day, we want to reduce stigmatization in the society.
This baby-friendly facility you talked about, I have seen it. I went there 4 years ago. I visited the place, and it looks like you rely solely on benevolence of philanthropists. In occasions where you don't get these stuff for the babies especially, what do you do?
In fact, the female prison officers are doing a lot. You'll be shocked that we are doing a lot of sacrifices. Some come with their old dresses, baby dolls, and a whole lot. And then sometimes when we really need to do something to enrich the inmates, what we do is we contribute.
It's about time that you, the prison officers, you also are able to speak on behalf of these convicts, inmates, especially those who are pregnant or those who have children.
Honestly, it's not a good environment for them at all. We were trying to work it out. I think initially there is this legal implication that before an inmate comes to prison, the inmate has to undergo a pregnancy test. Yes, so it used to be done, but I understand now, because I'm at headquarters now, I understand now the judges are doing it. We also do it, but when we do it, the person has been committed to custody. Yes. You can't send the person away. So we are trying our very best to let the public know and let the legal brains also know that sometimes when they come into the prison, it's really...
Meanwhile, Chairman of the Ghana Prison Council, Reverend Stephen Wengam, revealed government's budgetary support cannot assist prisoners, and thus the need for more philanthropic support.
We had a council meeting a few days ago, and it's become critical that government is not able to give us budgetary allocation for capital, for projects in the, for major projects. And it's become clear that our only hope is Project Efiase. Let us all go out there and be advocates, because if the resources come in, then we can use the proceeds from Efiase to take care of some of these capital investment projects that we need to undertake.
Minister of Gender, Children and Social Protection, Nanoye Letha, reiterated government's course to keep empowering women in the country. She, however, threw a challenge to the acting director of the service.
It is the prison service and ultimately the prisoners who will benefit positively when the female officer is empowered. It is therefore imperative for us to continuously invest in the empowerment of the female prison officer. We need to build her capacity, we need to make her resilient, address her needs, create space for her at all levels of decision making in the prison service. So this I throw to the Prison Council and to our Acting Director General. Director General, empower the female prison officer.
Remember, it's 62 days to elections, and trust your election headquarters to update you on all you need to know about election 2016 on TV, radio, online and mobile. We'll take a break. We'll be back with sports.